Hello guys and welcome back to the channel, thanks for tuning in. So today I'm going to be unboxing the Backbone controller, and this is the Xbox variant of the controller, and it is the Gen 1. The Gen 2 I believe is the USB Type-C version of the controller, so I don't have that one because I have the iPhone mini 13, and for that reason I went for the Lightning port one. I do own the white version as well, but I couldn't find it, so just as well Backbone sent this to me a few weeks ago to review, and I just didn't get the chance to do it. And now that I do have the time to actually review this product, I'm going to review it, and all opinions are going to be my own. So without further ado, let's get right inside the box and have a look inside first and see what we have. Okay, so let's have a look then. So inside here at the top is a adapter for your iPhone or whatever phone you're going to be using, and I'm guessing this is for basically if you have a thick type of phone case, you can use this adapter for that reason. I tried it with my phone and it didn't work, it didn't seem to fit, and it was a little bit bulgy, so for that reason I'm not going to be using it, and I'll show you that later into the video anyway. So you do get some instruction manuals which you are going to need to set up, because there is a a little bit of a learning curve to set this actual controller up to your phone. Now, right off the bat, the only thing that I'm going to say about this controller, just to start off with from the beginning, from the get-go, is that I don't like the subscription service that this controller offers. And it's just something that, you shouldn't have to have a paywall to be able to use this controller with multiple different devices. You can't actually use it on PC unless you actually get the subscription service, which is a little bit of a letdown. And currently, if you're in the UK, you can actually buy this controller for £69.99. Normally it's £99.99, which is another reason why this controller is way too expensive in my opinion, and there are better alternatives out there. So please do your research before you commit to buy this product. Anyway, so the controls feel okay, the buttons feel kind of decent. I mean, I'm kind of used to it because I used to use my old one, the PlayStation version, quite a lot a few months ago, but I've kind of lost it. I don't know what it is. So like I mentioned earlier, a good job that Backbone did send this to me a few weeks ago to review, and luckily for me it is the Lightning port version, so it is the Gen 1. So feeling the controller, it is really good, I'm not gonna lie. So the thumbsticks are decent, very responsive, and the buttons seem to be okay, even though I'm not gonna lie, they do seem to be a little bit more clicky in the video than they are in real life, so I don't know what's going on there. But all in all, it seems to be okay. I mean, the phone fits snug in here. You can actually put bigger phones in here. I'm using an iPhone 13 mini, but you can actually use the iPhone 15 Pro Max and all that kind of stuff, depending on what phone you actually use. And you can use it on Android as well, so for that reason, it is, I guess, a good controller, because it is compatible with other devices, except for your PC, because they put it behind a paywall. What a shame. By the way guys, I'm using the Delta emulator here and it's phenomenal. I need to make a video on this actual emulator. But anyway, next up we're going to play some Street Fighter 2 Turbo, and this is running on the SNES emulation, whatever you want to call it. So I've picked Ken. Ken's not really my character, but we're going to try and do some moves here. You can see that I can pull off the Hurricane Kick, Dragon Punch and the Fireballs quite easily using the thumbstick, and I guess that's a good thing. And when you're playing these types of games, sometimes it is nice to have that ability to be able to use a thumbstick. I mean, way back in the days you used to have a D-pad and it was all good and you were good to go. And here, as you can see, Zangief has wasted me because I picked Ken. I'm blaming it on Ken. Anyway, let's try the D-pad and see if I do any better. Now the D-pad is decent. It's not the best D-pad, I'm not gonna lie, but it is pretty good for what it is. And to be honest with you, this is a controller that you can actually take on the go with you wherever you want to go. It does have a really small form factor. For that reason, I think it's a really good plus, because it's not going to take much space in your backpack or whatever bag you decide to take with you if you're going to be using this. And it's perfect for this Dolphin. It's perfect for this Delta emulator that's been put onto the iOS system recently of late, and I've just been having a ton of fun playing this Delta emulator. I've been able to put it onto my big screen TV and play some real good old school classics using this controller, and it's been fine, to be honest with you. Next up we're going to try some Contra Alien Wars, and again the controls feel responsive and the buttons are decent. I mean, it's not the best design if you're going to play for long periods of time, and I'll get into that in a little bit later when I show you some comparisons with some of the other devices that I do have. But on the go. I mean, you can't go wrong if you're gonna kill some time waiting for a bus, waiting for the train or whatever. This is perfect. It's gonna come in clutch, 100%. God damn, Contra, what an amazing game you are. Even till this day, you don't fail to give me the excitement, the adrenaline, and the fun. Honestly, I just can't believe some epic games on the Super Nintendo way back in the days, and it just takes you back. Anyway, keeping it moving, we're going to move on to the Game Boy Advance emulator, and we're going to play some Metal Slug. Now, Metal Slug is a epic game, and it runs really well on this emulator. It really does. I can't fault it at all, and Game Boy Advance games run so nice and smooth. I mean, everything that I've played on this emulator so far has been fun, but I don't really want to talk about the emulator. I want to talk more about this controller. The one thing that I really do need to do is change the controls, because the R2 button is the start button for some reason, and I really need to delve more deeper into this actual emulator and change the keys, because they are really doing my nutting. Honestly, I've been pressing start. As you can see, every time it does pause, it's because I'm doing it by accident, and the keys are just offset to opposite buttons. Like on Contra, the jump button was X. Oh no, not X, A. I'm trying to do the PlayStation layout here. So the jump button was A and the fire button was Y, and that was so hard to actually control because they're in opposite places, and I'd rather have them next to each other. So X should be fire and A should be jump, and B should be the bomb. But anyway, I managed to get through that. But yeah, I mean, all in all, this controller is fun to have, and it's one of those controllers that, you know, you're gonna have a ton of fun with if you're okay with it. Now, the other good thing is that it does have a USB Type-C port at the bottom. I forgot to mention that, and you can actually charge your phone through the controller. Another thing that I did realize with this controller is that when you're playing the games on your actual iPhone, it does drain the battery slightly quicker, so do bear that in mind. That is something that I did want to point out to you guys. So coming over to the buttons and stuff and the controller itself now. For some reason on camera, these buttons feel really clicky, and they're actually not like that in real life. It's quite strange. But yeah, ergonomically, that's the main issue that I have with this device. It does have a nice grippy little texture on the back, but the ergos are just not for me. And it was the same issue that I had with the Nintendo Switch, with the Joy-Cons being so slim and so flat, with no like love handles to hold on to. I mean, they do have a slight curvature, but it's I don't really feel it much at all. And coming from this bad boy, you know, when you've got some nice big love handles and then you come to something like this, it does feel a little flat, if you know what I mean. Yes, it's just the ergonomics really. And also the thumbsticks are very similar to the ones on the Nintendo Switch, so that's a plus. They are decent thumbsticks. The buttons seem to be okay as well, so I don't really have much of a gripe with the buttons. The travel distance and all that kind of stuff is okay, pretty good. I mean, I would definitely recommend it just to play this Delta emulator on it. It's really good for that. And aside from that, the only gripes that I have with it, like I mentioned, is that paywall, and also the ergonomics are not the best. And not to mention, that price tag is ridiculous. But aside from that, it's a good controller. I would recommend it, especially if you're gonna use it for what I'm using it for. It's perfect. I didn't use any of the games from the Play Store or anything like that. Not the Play Store, from the, you know, the Apple Store. But yeah, you guys can check that out and let me know what you think. If you did like the video, please do like, share and subscribe. Leave some comments in the comment section down below, and I'll catch you in the next video. Stay safe, guys. Peace.